Hey guys, welcome to my video for Assetto Corsa EVO patch 0.5. In this video, we're going to be doing test drives of all 7 cars, and we're going to be doing the Toyota AE86 stock and tuned. So technically it's 8 cars, which is perfect because we have 4 layouts of Watkins Glen and 4 layouts of Circuit Paul Ricard. So that's an excellent place to take our test drives for all of these cars. So we're going to be starting with the Audi Sport Quattro, BMW M2, Caterham 7485 CSR Final Edition, Dallara EXP, Porsche 911 GT3 RS 992 generation, then Toyota AE86. We're going to be doing the tuned version first, and then the stock version second. Then we're going to do the Volkswagen Golf MK1, and then I'm going to go for a Hotlap with the 911 GT3 RS on both Watkins Glen and Circuit Paul Ricard. On the track layouts that I thought were the most fun to do. That being said, with Watkins Glen, I kind of changed my mind on which one was my favorite. I think just the standard GP is probably my favorite because the turns that you get on the GP inner loop are a little bit strange. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If there's any car you want to check out, there's timestamps. If you want to go to the hot laps, there's timestamps. And I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, bye-bye. Hello and welcome to Assetto Corsa EVO. They have added 7 new cars and 2 new tracks with 4 layouts each, and we're going to go check it out. Alright, so the first track that we're going to check out is Watkins Glen International. There's 4 layouts, so we're just going to hop with the inner loop first, and the first car we're going to check out is the Audi Sport Quattro 1983. Looks like we have 3 options. A red, white, and blue. Let's go ahead and grab this one. Usually I'm grabbing the one at the far end, I guess. All right, let's go see what it's like. All right, hopping into the Audi. Let's get going. Sounds good. A little bit of understeer for an all-wheel drive car on throttle application. See how we do on these corners. Turn-in is nice. Yeah, the turn-in is nice and good. Yeah, turn-in is real nice. Not bad at all. Feels pretty good for an all-wheel drive car. One thing to say, the suspension is pretty soft, so you'll notice coming up to this turn that the front end will dive down pretty strongly. And as you apply the brakes, the front end will dip down and dive, like you can see here, pretty strongly. This gives you a visual representation of the weight transfer, which is actually very useful when you're trying to learn braking. The old AE86 used to be really good at this. And yep, under excessive throttle, the car will understeer. But in general, the car does feel nice to drive. So let's try and do this corner pretty smoothly. Yeah, it's alright, feels good. Yeah, this car has a nice turn-in, feels good. The suspension's a bit soft, like I said, it does the weight transfer for you, which I personally like, being a rally car driver myself. Yeah, very nice all-wheel drive car. I don't know how many all-wheel drives are in this game, but this is definitely a nice one. Turn-in feels good, weight transfer feels good, brakes feel good, engine sounds good. Yeah, I think I would give this car an A tier. I think this is an A tier car. Feels very good. Excellent addition to the game. Nice, very good. Alright, so next we're going to switch to Watkins Glen short inner loop, and we are switching to the BMW M2. So we have 2 versions, and they have the same performance rating of 12.8. We're going to go with this one with the double spoiler on the back. Alright, BMW M2. I already hate the interior. I don't like the screens. I don't like the gauge cluster. I don't like that I have some notification here that says All driver assistance systems will be deactivated, including lane departure and brake assist. That's what I love to see in my sports car. Lane departure and brake assist. Oh my goodness. So annoying. And the gauge cluster to me is really unappealing to look at. All right, so we got some oversteer. And we also got some understeer. Wow, this car understeers. This is not a dynamically good car to drive, or look at, or sit in, or anything. I remember when BMW used to claim that they were the ultimate driving machine, and that was wonderful as long as you forget that Porsche exists. But I don't know what modern BMWs are doing. I really don't know, because the cars look terrible. In like every game I've ever played, the cars drive terrible. Like even like Forza Horizon 5, all of the modern BMWs, they feel terrible to drive unless you modify them. And then this BMW in this game, it feels terrible to drive also. Like an annoying degree of oversteer followed by a lot of understeer. This is just a hateful machine. Just, it looks bad, it drives bad, it feels bad, it sounds bad. The gauge cluster is bad. I have no idea what BMW is doing. F tier. This car goes F tier. Out of all the legendary BMWs they could have added, like the Z4 Coupe, like they could have added, it's just, I don't know. I understand why they need like a modern BMW representation, but this is just a terrible car. This is a hateful machine. Awful addition to the game, but I guess that's modern BMW, so who knows. The short track layout was pretty good though. All right, so the next one to check out is the GP. Looks like the only thing that happens is, it looks like the same as GP inner loop, except we get a straightaway here instead of that little dip in braking section. So what's our next car? We're hopping into the Caterham. Which one? 485. Do all of these have the same performance rating? All right, all of them have the same performance rating of 13.8. I'm gonna go with this one because I think the paint looks cool. So like this is more of a bright red. This is more of like a ooh candy apple red. I like that. That looks cool. So we're gonna go with this one. Alrighty, Caterham 7 485 CSR Final Edition. Well, it's definitely a Caterham. Caterhams are very sensitive to oversteer with gas pedal input. So if you're a rear-wheel drive driver trying to learn how to control your gas pedal foot, the Caterham is an amazing learning tool for that. This is a pretty annoying car to drive in general, but as far as like this car as a learning tool, it's extremely useful. So coming into this long turn here, we have no ABS. So it'll be good for training your braking foot as well to try and get the maximum braking you can do. Are we going straight or turning? We're going straight, okay. But yeah, okay, so no ABS. And now we're drifting. Caterhams are very sensitive to throttle input. Also, these cars are extremely lightweight. You'll notice that right away when you get in the car. As soon as you step on the gas, the car is immediately moving. And the car, the overall feeling you get of this car is lightness. This car feels very, very light, twitchy, delicate, challenging to drive. See, again, no ABS. And then delicate throttle application. Let's try and do nice turn in here. Too much. And a little bit of oversteer on throttle exit. Alright, so final thoughts on the Caterham here. Alright, so very difficult car to drive, good as a learning tool. In general, I would probably put this car at about maybe a B tier or an A tier. If you're looking for a challenge, this is probably like A tier, S tier. If you're looking for a just car to drive, probably a B or A, depending on the level of challenge and difficulty you're looking for, as well as having a learning tool. This car probably ranks between B, A, and S, depending on what you want. I think my solid rating would be a B or an A. Alright, so moving on to the fourth layout, which is short, basically the same as the short inner loop, but with the straightaway. We are going to the Dallara EXP. I don't know what this car is. This is a weird fake car to me. I don't recognize this car. All of them are the same performance level. I think we're going to stick with the green one just because I think it looks cool. Look at this one. Ooh, full carbon fiber. Ooh, wow. Yeah, all of them have the same performance value of 24.6, so we'll just go ahead and go with this one. Alright, Dallara EXP. I don't know this brand. I don't know this brand, I don't know this car. The shifting is really nice though, wow. Turn-in is nice, grip level is nice. No issues with oversteer. Extreme levels of grip. The shifting is very nice. Yeah, this is a really nice car. This is definitely like, I think this is a track day car, which would make a lot of sense, because this definitely feels like purpose-built for a track day. I don't think you'd be like driving this car in any kind of like real world, on the street kind of situation. Ooh, that sounded nice. That sounded cool. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, the downshifts feel super, super nice and crisp. They sound good, the upshifts sound good. Compared to the Caterham, this thing is glued to the ground. This thing is glued. I don't need to worry about it at all. So yeah, this is a really good feeling track day car. Not one of my favorites because it's not like, you know, a standard road car, but as far as like, I guess a track car, yeah, it feels really good. Feels very nice to drive. Probably solid A tier, maybe S tier. We'll have to reevaluate once we drive more of the cars in this game to see, what do I really think? Is it really A tier? I think A tier is a solid. All right, so now, so that's the 4 Watkins Glen International ones. Alright, so the next track we're looking at is not here in North America. It is in Europe, and we are looking for Paul Ricard. So we're going to start with the very first layout here. Again, we have 4 layouts to check out. And our next car is the Porsche 911 GT3 RS. Now there's 2 versions of it, but both of them have the same performance rating. So I'm going to go with the Weissach package. And let's go ahead and check out this track. Alrighty, Porsche 911 GT3 RS 992 generation. Oh yes. I love the sound of a flat 6 engine. The way on the downshifts. The turn-in feels really nice, feels really good. The way the vehicle handles makes you feel very confident. It's actually not as good as the Dallara EXPS track car, which was, I think, a performance rating of like 24, whereas this car is like, what, 19.2? At least according to the game. But this is a lot more my kind of car. The Dallara is an amazing track toy, right? But this is like a real car, kind of. And also a track day car. What is this? This is a big straightaway? Alright, I guess we'll just enjoy the engine for a little bit. But yeah, there's a reason why Porsche is the best in my mind. And coming up to a corner. Very confident. Very confidence-inspiring. Very good feeling. Excellent turn-in. Nice weight transfer. This corner, it tightens up, right? I don't really like this track as much compared to the other one, because all of these, like, ending corners, they all just tighten up. It's like we have a long straightaway into, like, 3 annoying corners. Like, 3 corners that are annoying back to back to back. And I think we stay wide here, and then we cut in, and then we can just power through. But yeah, the 911 GT3 RS is excellent. This is definitely my kind of car. I really, really like this car. I would definitely give this probably an A tier. I want to give it an S tier, but I think to be more reasonable, it's an A tier car. But it's a car that, it's definitely my kind of car. I'm really glad they added this to the game. This is one of the cars that I'm going to be driving probably the most. And I really like it. It's great. Glad this was added to the game. Now this is a much better addition than the BMW M2. This is a lot more fun to drive. All right, so the next version of this track is Layout 1CV2, which looks like there's like a little turn. So let's go ahead and hop into the tuned version first, because there are different versions of this car. This is the next car to check out, the Toyota AE86, and there's 2 versions. There's a version that's like 9.9 performance and a version that's 11.7. We'll hop into the 11.7 first because it is a glorious car to drive. Toyota AE86 tuned. Now this is a joyous car to drive. The transmission's snappy, the car is lightweight, the steering is direct, there's no ABS, so you do have to be careful in the braking zones. It's not as difficult to drive as the Caterham, and it's a bit more special because of the engine. Listen to this. This car has a 4-cylinder engine that revs to 11,000 RPM. If they made 4 cylinders like this nowadays, I don't think anyone would complain from an enthusiast perspective. Probably the closest thing to this that we have is like the Honda S2000, like AP1 and AP2. AP1 a little bit more RPMs, but this is such an excellent tribute car to the Initial D anime car. It's amazing. Yeah, this is like a 11k RPM racing engine. Careful into the braking zone because this is an older car without ABS. Now, one negative of this setup is that on the Nürburgring, for example, you can hit this car's maximum speed. So you'll be cruising, and you'll be hearing the engine bumping off the rev limiter like this, and you'll be like, I wish I could rev up, I wish I could shift up, I wish I could shift up. But on the Nürburgring, you just kind of need to let off the throttle and let the car relax a little bit. I was really hoping there was something in the tuning menu that would allow changing the gearing of the transmission, but I couldn't find anything like that in the tuning menus. There was no transmission tuning, so maybe that'd be something cool for them to add in the future. But this is a really engaging, fun, exciting car to drive that challenges the driver and gives a very fun experience. I really like this car. This is an excellent addition to the game. And also, this is definitely an upgrade over the AE86 tuned from the original Assetto Corsa. I think this is an A-tier car. I really like how challenging it is. I really like how fun it is from a sound perspective with the 11,000 RPM engine. Wonderful initial D tribute, really fun car, really great to drive. I'm glad they added it. All right, so the next thing to check out will be, so back to Paul Ricard. Now we're gonna do layout 3A, and we're switching to the AE86 normal version. So the normal version is 9.9 performance, whereas the tribute version is 11.7. So we're gonna hop into the 9.9 and go ahead and give it a go. All right, AE86 stock version. Now the engine still sounds good. It's a lot less exciting than the other one, but it does sound good. Where are we going here? Okay. But yeah, the good things about this car are still here. Like, it's still lightweight, still has a nice turn in, feels good to drive. It's just a lot less exciting because it has a lot less power. And the engine is not as exciting. That being said, the AE86 still trains the driver, as they say. This is not a bad car. Alright, into the turn. We gotta be careful with our braking, because again, no ABS. The car still trains the driver. And now here we go. Making sure we keep it as clean as possible. Yeah, still a good car. Good turn-in. Good handling, nice lightweight. Definitely a lot less exciting since it doesn't have the 11,000 RPM engine. This is still a good engine though. Still sounds decent for a 4-cylinder, right? And we're gonna bring it around. Probably drop it to second gear here. Alright, not bad. Not bad at all. Alright, so AE86 stock. Not the most exciting car in the game, but I'm glad they added it so that you can compare what the stock version is like versus the tuned version. Still a nice addition to the game. Still the good things about it are it's lightweight. The handling is nice, the steering is nice, helps teach you how to use the brakes because it's no ABS. Not as challenging as the Caterham, but still challenging in its own way. Good addition to the game. I'd probably give this like a C tier, because in stock form it's really not as exciting as the tuned form, but it's really nice that you can compare stock versus tuned, so it's a good thing they added it to the game. It's just a lot more of a pedestrian kind of vehicle. Speaking of which, we're going to go to the last available layout, and we're going to go to Volkswagen with the GTI MK1. Alright, Volkswagen Golf MK1. Also pretty decent sounding engine. Oh, it's doing like a little bit of a blip. It does a blip of the throttle on upshift if I'm not letting go of the pedal. It does like a blip. A lot of body roll under braking and acceleration. Ooh, and understeer. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna try and like lift off on the pedal when upshifting. But yeah, the body roll, this really does feel like a lot more of like a pedestrian kind of car. And the understeer is really brutal. Not a lot of speed, but it does have a lot of understeer. I forgot to let go of the throttle. We'll try again here, I guess, if we even manage to get up to speed. Yeah, okay. Alright. But yeah, definitely not my kind of car, but for some of our friends over, I guess, in Europe who love their front-wheel drive hatchbacks, maybe this is a very exciting car added to the game for them. But for me, it's like, I don't know, the suspension of this car and the drivetrain of this car, it makes me feel like This is not that revolutionary performance hot hatch as it was like in real life. Now, I know in real life, because of how old this car was, that it actually did probably handle and feel similar to this. But, lots of understeer. Not a lot of performance and a lot of understeer. Yeah, maybe this car is really good for people who want to learn front-wheel drive or people who are excited about front-wheel drive, but for me, I'm just really not that excited about this car. It's like it understeers, it has body roll. I have to lift off when I upshift. Otherwise, it'll do like a throttle blip. Like that. Alright, not my favorite kind of car, but if you're trying to learn front-wheel drive, maybe this is the car that you'd be interested in. Maybe this car is more exciting for the European audience. For me as an American player of this game, I don't really get the excitement behind this car as much. I know historically this car was like a revolution of performance at a certain price level, but as far as in the game right now, it feels like a very kind of pedestrian commuter car. It doesn't feel that very exciting. I would probably give this car like a C tier, I think. A C tier is probably decent. But yeah, if you're a front-wheel drive enthusiast, maybe you'll really enjoy this car and really appreciate it and use it as a way to learn the dynamics of front-wheel drive. For me, I don't find this car really all that exciting. Alright, so that covers it for all 7 of the cars. So we're going to go ahead and hop back into the 911 GT3 RS. And we're going to do my favorite versions of the Watkins Glen and Circuit Paul Ricard and see how fast we can do them and what we think about them. All right, switching back to the Porsche 911 GT3 RS, we're going to select the Visoc package. The Visoc package. All right, back to North America, Watkins Glen International. Which one of these was my favorite? Probably GP inner loop, that's what I'm thinking. There's definitely a benefit of the GP of having that awkward little corner before the braking zone removed. Short's also actually pretty good too. Let's go ahead and say my favorite one was GP inner loop, but all 4 of these are pretty good to be honest. Let's say this is my favorite. All right, let's go do a couple of laps. All right, starting our lap here at Watkins Glen International GP Inner Loop. Coming up to the first corner, I really like this one. It kind of reminds me of Brands Hatch in a very good way, as it is like a downhill sort of corner. This is probably my favorite section of the track, this like turn right and then turn left. I did battle a little bit of understeer here, and then when the tires hooked up, I got a little bit too much rotation, but that was just my own little mistake there. I actually prefer the GP version over the inner loop version because it removes this like really awkward like turning in and then turning out corners. And now we enter this kind of braking zone. I really like this turn. This reminds me a little bit of Spa. There's a turn that's like this on Spa, but it's more downhill. This one's, I think, a little bit more flat, and I enjoyed that. This is a fun turn too, where you basically hug the inside, and then on the way out, you power through and then bring it to the edge. Coming up to this one, I actually don't really like this turn that much. It's like heavy braking into an uphill section. I tried switching from third gear to second gear and then back to third. I think that was pretty good. I think that maybe I gained some time by doing that, but not one of my favorite turns on this course. Coming up here, this is a deceptively tight turn. You can very easily go over that little rumble strip, and I didn't want to go over the rumble strip. This is also another tightening turn where you seem like you're totally fine to go, and then the edge of the wall just comes up really fast on you. To close out the lap, we have a kind of more relaxed opening turn that allows you to really power on your way of the exit. A little bit of braking into a nice roughly 90-degree turn right to the exit. So yeah, this was a good one. I actually liked Watkins Glen International layout quite a bit. I think the GP inner loop ended up being not my favorite, as I found that the GP loop, I enjoyed it more because it removed those awkward turns. Alright, Paul Ricard's track. I really didn't like the long straightaway, and the short version feels like the track is over way too quickly. Plus, I like the kind of more in the distance version, so probably this is my favorite version of it. Alright, let's go give it a go. Alrighty, hopping into the lap here on the Paul Ricard circuit. We are going through the little spectator area on our way into the first corner where we have to do heavy braking, a lot of downshifting for an almost 90-degree turn. Then following very quickly is a like over the hill, down the hill, also turn. This is basically a straight section. I like how the mountains, you can see them in the distance, is very cool. Here it's heavy braking into I really like this section. It's like left, right, and then you have to be careful with coming up to this one because you got to set up for the next corner here. So it's like you go this way, but the plan is to like set it up to like take speed through, because this whole section's very important to maximize your speed on the straightaway, because the straightaway is so long. Coming through this way, my goal was to not lose speed through that section. Braking zone, I totally ruined the braking zone here. This is not a good example of any kind of braking zone. I probably could have done this way better with like way more practice. I still don't really like this long straightaway area. In general, the Paul Ricard circuit, I don't really like it as much. I thought Watkins Glen International was a lot more fun. The thing that really kills this circuit for me is this long straightaway. The long straightaway just like, it's so boring for me. Coming around here, this is the first turn after the straightaway. It's a pretty relaxed one, but I've of course tried to take it super greedy. Now coming into this next turn, this next series of corners, I really don't like them because all of them kind of tighten near the end. It's like, it's a nice turn and then it tightens right at the end. So the strategy to maneuver through these corners without losing speed is to focus on the exit of the corner, not so much the apex. The apex was less important and more of the exit because it's a tightening corner. And all of these corners tighten, it seems. Here, this is like the corner that wraps it all up, so you gotta slow down, big turn, and make your way across the finish line. In general, yeah, I didn't really like the Paul Ricard circuit as much. For me, the big negative was the long straightaway. And the tightening corners near the end of the track, they offer a unique challenge, but basically you can't see them until you practice them a lot, and then once you practice them, you're like, oh, okay, this is how I should do it. Didn't enjoy this track as much.